When we participate in pleasurable actions or pursuits, our brains release a chemical called dopamine, which acts as a neurotransmitter and sends signals of pleasure to other parts of the body. This particular brain chemical is the primary factor in addiction, despite the fact that humans are biologically dependent on dopamine to reinforce behaviors that are essential to their survival, such as eating and procreating. However, excess of this brain chemical also happens to be the key player in addiction. In today's video, we will talk about that, how dopamine can destroy your life, and how one can master it for better health benefits. So don't miss any part of the video. Also, if you are new to the channel, remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any future videos we upload. Dopamine is released into the bloodstream whenever we partake in activities that give us pleasure, such as indulging in our favorite foods or getting romantically involved. This chemical sends the brain the message that a reward is on the way. Whenever we partake in these pleasurable activities, the neurotransmitter dopamine sends its chemical message to the brain. This causes the connection between the stimulus and the reward to become permanently established. This is referred to as the conditioning process. This pattern of stimuli and rewards makes it possible for the human species to keep on living. Dopamine is also responsible for the pleasure, satisfaction, and motivation that you experience. When you feel good about something you've done, your brain makes more dopamine. Dopamine is released as a result of many pleasurable experiences, including eating delicious food, having sex, winning a game, and earning money. It is possible that you will start to crave more of this dopamine reward, which is caused by these experiences. Dopamine spikes can also be caused by alcohol and a wide range of illegal drugs, which is one of the reasons why these substances can be so addicting. Dopamine controls a number of mental and physical processes, such as learning, memory, mood, sleep, focus, and body movement. So what happens if I have too much or too little dopamine? Dopamine deficiency can make you feel less motivated and less excited about the things going on around you. There is a connection between it and a number of mental illnesses, including psychosis, schizophrenia, and depression. There is a correlation between having an excess amount of dopamine or having too much dopamine concentrated in some parts of the brain and not enough in other parts, and having a higher level of aggressiveness, competition, and poor impulse control. It has been linked to conditions like attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, compulsive gambling, binge eating, and addiction. Parkinson's disease is characterized by the progressive death of nerve cells that produce dopamine. Because dopamine plays a role in the control of the muscles, this results in issues with the stiffness and movements of the muscles. The symptoms of a dopamine imbalance can vary widely depending on the underlying cause of the condition. They can be muscle cramps, spasms or stiffness, digestion problems, such as constipation or reflux, pneumonia, or having trouble sleeping, moving more slowly, speaking more slowly than usual, feeling tired and unmotivated, feeling sad and lacking hope, having a low libido, moving or speaking more slowly than usual, and hallucinations. Dopamine levels are increased 5 to 10 times above the normal level when someone uses drugs or alcohol, which causes the brain's mood center to be inundated with the neurotransmitter. The brain of the user associates the intense rush brought on by the increase in dopamine levels with the act of using the drug of choice, which in turn reinforces the desire to use it again. In the end, the brain needs more and more of the alcohol or drug to achieve any feelings of pleasure at all, which results in behaviors that are driven by an irresistible need for the substance. The majority of drugs work by stimulating the brain's reward system, which results in an excessive amount of dopamine being released. Because of this, the brain decreases the amount of dopamine it makes and the number of receptors it has. Continued use of alcohol or drugs will, at some point, have an effect on the circuits and neurons in the brain, which could potentially cause irreversible damage. The user will try to achieve feelings of pleasure at any cost, which will result in an increase in the dosage levels as well as the frequency of use, which will further cement the dependency on the drug. Both an increased tolerance for the drug as well as an increased level of addiction can pose a threat to the user's life. The question is, how can you adjust your dopamine levels? By addressing the underlying cause of the issue, you can increase the amount of dopamine in your system. It's possible that you have a mental illness, are under a lot of stress, aren't getting enough sleep, are obese, are abusing drugs, or are eating too much sugar and saturated fat. A problem with the adrenal glands is another potential root cause of low dopamine levels. By eating a healthy diet that is rich in foods rich in L-tyrosine, you can naturally raise your levels of the neurotransmitter dopamine, the protein needed to make dopamine. Almonds, avocados, bananas, beef, chicken, and eggs are some examples of these foods. Taking supplements with turmeric, vitamin D, magnesium, and omega-3 fatty acids may also help raise dopamine levels. Dopamine levels will also be increased by engaging in activities that give you a positive mood. Among these are going for a massage, meditating, working out, and getting sufficient amounts of sleep. Thinking about all the things you've accomplished and all the positive aspects of your life can also be beneficial. If your doctor finds that your depression or schizophrenia is caused by low dopamine levels, he or she may give you antidepressants or mood stabilizers, along with other treatments for mental illness. It is common practice to treat Parkinson's disease patients with medications that raise their levels of the neurotransmitter dopamine. These can frequently bring about a significant improvement in the symptoms. To our great blessing, the brain is capable of changing and rewiring itself because of its plasticity. New neural roadmaps can be developed using holistic methods such as mindfulness training and meditation, as well as cognitive behavioral therapy. These new neural roadmaps can be developed. Simply put, retraining the brain to react differently to certain thoughts or triggers can, over the course of time, change the chemical makeup of the brain. Changing established neural pathways requires a lot of work and perseverance. Learning and practicing new behaviors requires effort and time. It takes some time for novel thought processes to become habitual. It takes practice to learn how to use new relaxation techniques and to be present in the moment. In time, the neural pathways that were once active during addiction will become less active as new pathways are formed. This process takes place over an extended period of time. One can learn how to control their impulses whenever they arise. Adopting a nutritious diet that provides fuel for brain cells is one way to improve overall brain health in conjunction with medical treatment. There is a strong connection between proper nutrition and brain health, which encompasses not only cognitive functioning but also mental health. Restoring cellular health in the brain can be accomplished by consuming a diet that emphasizes the consumption of lean proteins, such as fish and turkey, fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grain breads and pasta, nuts and seeds. It is absolutely necessary for the upkeep of our health that we get the recommended amount of sleep each night. The recommendation issued by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC) is that adults should get an average of 7 hours or more of sleep every night. When you don't get enough sleep, the dopamine receptors in your body can be negatively affected, which can lead to a variety of unpleasant side effects. According to the findings of some studies, not getting enough sleep can cause dopamine receptors in your body to become less active. To sum up the whole discussion, both excess and deficiency of dopamine levels can be dangerous for the human body. Deficiency of dopamine can be correlated with medicines, as well as natural diets and fruits, as discussed earlier in this video. Well, that was all for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, please share your thoughts in the comments section. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video.